Okay, for the final set of eyes, I'm going to be using the exact same set of pencils. So an H, B, 2B, and 3B leads, as well as a sharpened eraser, a rubber eraser, and a ruler to draw the access line. Let's get started. To begin, draw an access line directly through the middle of the pupils of both eyes on your photo reference. By now, I'm sure most of you know this. On the final set of eyes, I'm going to reinforce everything you've learned so far, and I'm going to expand on those concepts, so you'll need to pay close attention. I'm going to go back over planes, the flow of lines, as well as how to benefit from your mistakes, and use them to make corrections and adjustments. I want to make sure every student has a strong grasp of the material before we move on to drawing a portrait. Draw the access line right onto your photo reference. That's going to be your constant, and will help you immensely to catch mistakes early. Make a mark on your ruler showing where the line begins on the left, and mark your drawing. Then do the same on the right, and finally draw your access line. Be sure to make that line light though, because you eventually will be erasing it. Next, take your measurements. Again, just use your pointer finger to get an estimate of where the line of the eyelid starts. As usual, you should be working along with me, and pause the video whenever you need to control the pace. As I said earlier, you can just as easily use your ruler and get the same results. This is just less tedious to me. The eyelid should start right about here. Besides, using your pencil or finger to judge distances is a good tool to know when it comes to life drawing. Next, I'll measure the distance to the inside corner of her eye. When you draw that line, make sure you're also estimating how far down it is from the access line as well. Next, get a measurement for the start of the right eye, and again, mark its distance down from the access line. There is a lot of potentially confusing elements on this side of the eye, so I'm going to start by measuring to the end of the eyeball. Look closely, see where the tip of my pencil is? I chose that spot because I feel like those curves on the lower eyelid are going to be tricky, so the more measurements and information I have, the better. I'll take another measurement for where the line of the eyelid ends. Okay, that should be enough information to get started on your drawing, but first, let's revisit how we're going to approach structure and planes. The eyebrow isn't a plane, but it's a major landmark, so we'll outline it and treat it like a solid shape. This shadow defines the edge of the plane of the side of the nose. The eyelid is its own plane. This shadow ends here. Remember, we're treating the line art like we're making a relief map. This is all curved, but it's still considered one plane. This is the plane of the lip of the upper eyelid. It gets lost in the mascara and eyelashes, but we still need to define it and treat it as a plane in the preliminary drawing. I want to train your eye to simplify images, to see it as basic shapes. For example, the corner of the eye is just a triangle. A shadow indicates that an area is on a different plane. Simplify those into basic shapes as well, another triangle in this case. This lip is its own plane. This is what your preliminary drawing should look like. It's all of the basic information you'll need. I don't just want you to draw lines, I want you to know why you're drawing each line. Let's move to the other eye. Watch how this shape organically creates perfect curves into at least one other shape. Every line in the eye either flows into another line or intersects with it to show you where a feature begins or ends. I want to make sure every student taking this course understands this concept, because it's the secret to great line art. If you continue the curve of the eyeball, it'll show you exactly where the line of the upper eyelid ends. And notice all of the lines intersect at this one point. If you simplify the eyebrow, it's just two parallel lines that wave and taper off. But where should you create the curve in the wave? Where does it begin and where does it end? Extend the lines of the lower eyelid and it'll show you exactly where the eyebrow should begin and where to make the curve. Are you starting to see the shapes and how they repeat? Here's another example. The curve of the iris will tell me where the eyebrow ends. See? This flow is the math to nature. It's the golden ratio. It's called a Fibonacci sequence. This is what Leonardo da Vinci was trying to show us with his Vitruvian Man. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, this is what da Vinci's Vitruvian Man looks like. I'm sure you're all familiar with it. And these are some examples of the golden ratio in nature. In a sunflower, a snail shell is a famous example, the formation of a galaxy, a hurricane, and it's repeatedly evident in a person's face. Of course, you have to know what to look for in order for it to work, and now that you do, you're going to start to see it everywhere you look. Every great artist understands this on a profound level and uses it at some capacity in their work. It takes some practice, but once you get it, your drawings will never be the same.